So, what does it mean to live in the moment? So, since I've been here in Paris and even beforehand, I've had to be sort of intentional about living in the moment. And oftentimes, what happens is because we're prophetic people, and because I'm prophetic, I tend to always be looking at the future and be thinking about, okay, what's going to happen, in a month from now, 2 months from now, 5 weeks from now, a year from now, go on and forth, 10 years from now, all of those things. And when you're like that, sometimes you're so busy thinking and preoccupied thinking about the future and when you're going to get to a particular moment, and you don't enjoy the moments that you're in. And so I really believe that it's so important. It's such an important skill to practice living in the moment, to practice the present. Yes, the presence of God, but also the present with God. And so this can be really difficult, especially if we're going through a painful season. You just want to kind of skip ahead, like you want the VCR to like fast forward through all of the painful parts. I know that when certain movies, if I've watched them enough, the parts I don't like, I can just fast forward. We just skip that, and then we can get to the good part, which is the hero saves at the end. But our lives aren't like that. And it's so important for us to be engaged. Being in Paris has really been teaching me about engagement because I don't speak the language. I have to like make sure I read everything and make sure I understand what's being said to me in detail so that I don't, get on the wrong train or, buy the wrong thing or whatever. And so I just want to encourage you to live in the moment, that these moments of your life, whether they be happy or painful, they're going to be the moments that define how you engage in the future. I've been reading James 1 that says, count it all joy as you encounter various trials and in many different kinds of ways. And so it's like God has this expectation that even if there's pain or even if there are things that are not happening that aren't right, it's like, don't disengage. Count them all joy. Actually be so engaged that you can see how that thing is going to make you better. The Bible says that trials come and the perseverance from those trials, not the trials itself, because what we do sometimes with, theologically is we go, oh, we need to have a trial so we can become perfect. It's like, no, God's not saying that. He's saying what you extract from that trial actually is what makes you perfect. The perseverance that you get, that muscle of perseverance that gets worked, actually is what makes you perfect, not the trial in and of itself. And so I just want to encourage you that in order to extract the nutrients from that perseverance, it requires your engagement. It requires you to say, this is a trial, and God, I'm going to allow patience to have its perfect work so that I might become mature, perfect, lacking nothing. And so I just want to encourage you today that no matter what you're dealing with, you can be engaged right now. That right now is awesome, just as awesome as tomorrow will be, and 5 years from now, and 5 months from now, or whatever timeline you're waiting for the promise to happen in. Be engaged in the now. One of the things that I'm having to be engaged with is like right now, I went to go visit a friend. I made a new friend on Sunday when I was at church. A friend of a friend, and she introduced us on Facebook. She's fantastic. But I had lunch in her apartment, and her apartment is super cute. And I was over there and I was looking and I was like, Jesus, yes, this is what I want. I want my own apartment again, And, like my new friend says, slow down, girl, you're going to get there. And I started laughing because I knew it was the Lord saying, Latasha, I want you to dream, but I also want you to relax. Because he knows me, because I'm like, okay, let's do this right now, And so I just want to encourage you, like, God is going to give you things to dream for. He's good like that, right? He's like, look what we're going to do together. Here's a shout out to the glorious future that I've planned for you. I'm going to give you prophetic words. I'm going to give you dreams, For single girls like me, it's like all about our husband, It's like any prophetic word we get that is even a little glimpse of our husband, we like, You know what I mean? And we're looking for that thing to happen. But I just want to encourage you that this moment, as you're single, as you are looking for whatever, as you're moving to transition into your next season, is just as amazing as transitioning into that next season. Why? Because one, you get to count it all joy, because this moment where you're waiting for the promise is actually working patience and perfection into you. And that perfection and maturity that you're gaining is actually going to help you to better possess the promised land. But also, the greatest thing you can do right now is be engaged and practice the presence, because there is nothing better than our Father in this moment, not just when He is manifesting Himself as Jehovah Jireh, or we're getting to move and getting to do exciting things and manifesting in the supernatural. But right now, as you are sitting here listening to me, or as you're sitting in your room by yourself, there's no greater time like the present to connect with your Father. So practice the present and the presence. Bless you guys.